announced that he'll be giving a speech on Ukraine. What more can you tell us? What is the timeline? Is he going to do this tomorrow or next week? Or?
So we'll have more to share on the president's speech. He said, as he said, a major speech on Ukraine. Don't want to go beyond what he said, but as soon as we've locked that in, certainly we will share that with all of you, the timing and the date.
And then you also talked about another means of potentially funding, getting U.S. support to Ukraine. Do you have any details on what he was talking about?
I don't have anything more than what the president shared. Look, the president was very clear, right? He basically said, he was able to bring 50 nations together, right? Allies and partners together to give a commitment, to bring forth a commitment to Ukraine as they are bravely fighting for their freedom, right? Fighting for their democracy. And what he said is basically it would be a major mistake for us to walk away from that, for us to walk away from what the brave people of Ukraine are doing every day for this past more than a year. And so there is a broad commitment. We see that from both the House and the Senate, both Republicans and Democrats, to continue that support, that funding support that we have provided for Ukraine. And he believes that still stands. He believes that has not changed, and we need to continue that. Okay.
Thanks, Corinne. So Biden said today that he's worried about additional funding to Ukraine. So if someone like Jim Jordan, who has said he's against moving an aid package to Ukraine, is elected speaker, does the White House believe they can still get more funding through?
So we're not going to comment on who's in the race or who's not in the race for speakership. That is something that the House needs to figure out, that House Republicans will deal with. What we can say, and what the president said as well, just reiterating this, is that he's committed to working across the aisle in good faith to get things done on a common ground, right? To making sure that we're getting things done for the American people. And so that is what matters. And we have seen him do this before in the last 2 years. I just mentioned the bipartisan infrastructure deal legislation, right? Which puts investment in infrastructure that we haven't seen in 70 years, right? Making sure that we continue to be competitive with China, right? When we think about the Chips and Science Act, we think about the Veterans Care, all of these things that he was able to do in a bipartisan way. So look, he wants to deliver for the American people. He's willing to work in a bipartisan way in good faith with whoever is willing to do that with him in the House and in the Senate.
But is there any regret that, Kevin McCarthy was a known quantity, but with this next person, that it will be even harder to work with? Any regret that there wasn't more support for the existing speaker?
Again, I'm not going to get into who's running or who's not running. That is, again, something for them to figure out. Look, here's the reality. The important fact is Republicans in the House, they have the majority, right? This is for them to figure out. This is for them to figure out how they are going to move forward, right? This is a situation that they have created. And I don't want to speak for every American across the country, but I would say a majority of Americans are sick and tired of the infighting that they're seeing in the House right now. They want to see us work in a bipartisan way. The president is willing to do that. Right, and so that's kind of where we are. The Republican conference that we see currently in the House, we've never seen that type of behavior. They stand apart from any other conference that we have seen before, whether you're talking about the Senate or the House. And so this is their creation, this chaos. If you think about it, this is like shambolic behavior that we're seeing from House Republicans. And so they need to figure it out. They need to end the infighting, and the president is willing and ready, as he has for the last 2 years, to work in a bipartisan way to get the job done for the American people.
This